this is Whiskey Alpha 3, Golf, Whiskey, Kilo, WA3GWK. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. What's the name there, sir?
Name is Dave, Delta Alpha, Victor Echo. We're located in South Alabama. Go ahead.
And what radio?
Well, I'm running an ICOM IC9100 into an Elecraft DA500 amplifier.
Okay, Dave, I just went around my SDRs, and I'm only copying you on my local antenna, it looks like. But come back and tell me about your antenna there for about 10 or 15 seconds. Let me look at your audio.
Yeah, very good. This is WA. My antenna is a Hustler, a 4-band vertical antenna mounted at ground level with a radio system of 30 radials. I use this antenna because I have a small lot house and I don't have much room for an extensive antenna system, and this allows me to do some work on HF. I'm also active on VHF single sideband. So there you have it. And let me turn it back to you. KC9VKV, WA3GWK. Go ahead.
Roger, Dave. Okay, I've looked at your audio, and you could use a little fattening. We have a generic setup procedure, if you might be interested.
I'm all ears.
It starts with your compressor. Bring your compressor online at a 3. It's just a token amount, but it is the beginning of our fattening process. So engage your compressor at a 3. Roger, roger.
Well, my compressor is currently at 4. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. We'll pull it to 3. We just need 3. We don't want to possibly hear that compressor working, and a 3 will absolutely put you in a position that nobody will even know that you're running a compressor. Roger.
Roger. It is now at 3.
All right. Now go to your ALC meter with mic gain in hand. And I want you to speak naturally, normally into your microphone, and adjust your ALC to where it's reading mid-scale to 2/3 by way of manipulating your mic gain control. So you bring your ALC meter up and key and talk, and just speak naturally. You don't need to whistle or anything. Just speak naturally, and just adjust your mic gain to where your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3.
WA3GWK, and of course we're running reduced power to drive the Elecraft, and the ALC where my mic gain is currently set is about in that range, 1/2 to 2/3. Just a point here too, the microphone that I'm using is a Shure Prologue dynamic microphone, and just one of the mics I had laying around here and decided to try it with this rig. Go ahead.
Roger that. Now, you might consider putting a windscreen on that microphone. I did hear some transients, which is, there's no problem, but if you have a windscreen that you can put on it, you just minimize, or actually you just clean up that whole situation, Roger?
Roger. You're not the first to suggest that. I have yet to do that. Go ahead.
Roger. Go down to your local music store with wearing your mask, I would guess, and get yourself, a foam windscreen. You can get them in any color you want. Maybe get 3. One for, I don't know, but any color you want there. I think they're about like $3 a piece or something, and it just is amazing. Now, I am running a homebrew condenser microphone, and I am right in the microphone. I am touching the microphone. That's what a windscreen will do for you. It just cleans up your act, Roger.
Oh, very, very good. KC9VKV, WA3GWK. Very good. Well, yes, I tend to do that, and I appreciate the time you've taken with me here this afternoon. And I did not write down your name on earlier here, and I've forgotten it. Go ahead.
Roger, my name is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and we're located near Louisville, Kentucky. We're just across the Ohio River from Louisville. We're over in Indiana, just across from Louisville.
Yeah, very, very good, very good. Well, your signal has been up and down, and it's up now, and I've actually been able to copy you pretty well the whole time here. So, anything else you might suggest? Go ahead.
No, I just, you know, again, you get to keep that compressor at a 3 and keep your ALC at mid-scale to 2/3. Now, I would leave my ALC meter up and build a consensus of opinion over a period of a couple of days, you know, as you use the microphone and you're looking for that mid-scale to 2/3, you know, and over a period of time you will find that exact place where you're mostly mid-scale to 2/3 all the time. And when you run it like that, you will be running about a 3 dB dynamic range. Now the other benefit to that is that you have very little punch through. Punch through is where you have a range that you know, if you were looking at your meter signal on a VU meter, that meter would hit a certain point and stay there all the time. Punch through is when all of a sudden you have a 3 dB punch through that normal level situation. Well, running a mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC drastically reduces any of that punch through, because that you know, that limiter is into limit most of the time when you're running mid-scale to 2/3, and so it doesn't have a tendency to all of a sudden punch through. Roger, it's usually very systematic as far as the peaks, and that's what I'm looking at here. I have a VU meter tied to my audio receiver, and you know, I've got your voice adjusted for 0 level, so I'm looking at your peaks, all the words of your peaks, you know, and I can tell usually by, you know, if a person is speaking at a halfway decent tempo, and you know, their words are flowing, I can look at my VU meter and tell very well what your dynamic range is by how the meter moves. Roger.
Yeah, very, very good, and thank you, Jim. One other quick question. I do work a fair amount of VHF weak signal, and are there any changes that you would recommend to setting my audio for weak signal work? Go ahead.
That's what we're trying to get. We're trying to get that audio up to maximum capability, and that is, you know, normal speech is said to be 10 dB dynamic range. So without any processing, somebody's normal speech pattern is 10 dB, and dynamic range is the difference between the smallest signal and the loudest part of your voice. So we say without processing, the human voice is about 10 dB dynamic range. But you know, when it comes to transmitting, we want to fatten that up and increase our signal to noise ratio. So 3 dB versus 10 dB is a lot fatter sound and goes a lot better, and so that's going to help you whether you're QSO or whether you're contesting or whatever. You have maximized your audio capabilities when you are running at a 3 dB dynamic range. Now, obviously, you could continue to force your ALC meter higher and reduce that 3 dB dynamic range to 2 dB, to 1 dB if you wanted to. But what happens is you need some life in your audio. You need some dynamics, because if you just get Katie up against the door, that becomes very difficult to understand. So you have defeated your purpose, even though your signal is louder. All these words are crunched together if you don't have any dynamic range, and you can't understand what it is. It's just like a moan, you know, big moan. So you need some dynamics in your voice characteristics to make it intelligible. And we've found that 3 dB is the ideal point. Roger?
Yeah, very good. KC9VKV, WA3GWK. Okay, Jim. Well, this has been quite an education for me, and I appreciate the time that you've taken with me here. No other questions. I'm real happy with the advice that I've gotten here today. Go ahead.
Roger. You know, the most important thing, and here's another thought for you, that as you look at your ALC meter or your output watt meter or whatever, you know, there's a game you can play, and that is try to keep that meter in the sweet spot as you speak. And that is accomplished by rate of speech, because you can't keep the meter up if you're hesitant like that. So you have to talk fairly fluently, and you know, try to modulate your words in the ballpark from one to the other, as opposed to spiking one word here or spiking one word there, or whatever. You know, you want to speak as best you can uniformly. So and then keep that meter, as you're looking at your watt meter or whatever, put it in PEP, so it moves fairly quickly, not RMS. But so you're looking at your output in PEP, and you're trying to keep that meter up as near as you can to the sweet spot. And this is, you know, it takes you a long period of time to you know, get good at it. But the more you look at it, the more relationship you see between your voice and the meter movement. Roger?
Yeah, Roger. Okay. Well, that's some good advice there, and I'll make a note to do that, a mental note here, and try to see what I can do to improve things here. Thank you very much, Jim. KC9VKV, WA3GWK.
Roger, Dave, 3Z Way, sir. You have a real good afternoon, great weekend. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. We got about 3 minutes till 5. They do turn into a pumpkin at 5 o'clock, so if you want a radio check, give me a shout.